Welcome to this Killik Explains finance video. This week, with the end of the tax year rapidly approaching, let's take a look at 3 ways ISAs, that's individual savings accounts, can help equity investors. Now, why equity investors? Because, frankly, with cash, you already get allowances from the government that allow you to earn a certain amount of interest tax-free. So the benefit of holding cash in an ISA is a bit marginal. But for equity investors, these have their place. So let's take a look at 3 ways they can help you. And one way, actually, they sometimes don't. Now, the background to this is what? Why now? Well, the current tax year, as some people will know, ends on the 5th of April 2019. It's coming up, as it does, fairly quickly. And individual savings accounts work on a use it or lose it basis. So if you decide not to put money into an ISA before the 5th of April, you can't then change your mind in July and go back and use the previous year's allowance. You lose it. Most savers and investors will benefit, particularly where the underlying investments are equities held for the long term. So let's take a look. The nuts and bolts are what? And I cover this in more detail in other videos. This is a roundup as we approach the end of the tax year again. ISAs are not investments, so people get confused. They are a wrapper that sits over the top of investments that you choose. Up to £20,000 per year. Now that's quite a lot these days. Up to £20,000 per year. So as a couple, you've got £40,000 potentially can be sheltered per tax year per person. And there's flexibility. So if you want to use different types of ISA, then you can, as long as the total contribution doesn't add up to more than £20,000 within the current tax year. And once investments are inside, they grow free of income tax and capital gains tax. A reminder, what does that mean? If you're holding shares in the shelter, any dividends received are not subject to income tax. And if you make gains, which hopefully you would over time, on the value of investments within an ISA, those gains are not subject to capital gains tax either. So there's the basic nuts and bolts. A wrapper to hold quite a lot of investments and protect them from 2 types of important tax. Now for those benefits. Investing flexibility is one of them. So the list of things that can go into an ISA is expanding over time. The government keeps moving the range up. So it's an awful lot of different types of bonds. That's IOUs issued by companies and governments. Shares, for example, including AIM shares these days. And of course cash, although I've mentioned cash is not a brilliant thing to hold within an ISA. Funds can be reallocated at any time. So if you're feeling cautious at the moment, you might go in initially with some cash, but then you can simply reallocate it to other assets such as shares, such as bonds. And if you decide you don't want a 50-50 split, for argument's sake, pulling a number out of the air, you could reallocate to a 90-10, 20-80, whatever you like. So lots of flexibility about what goes in and how you manage the allocation. And you can transfer between providers. So if you decide next year you're not that happy with your current provider, it is relatively straightforward these days to transfer from one to another. Tax-free growth, number 2. Now, nothing is guaranteed in this world, and after last year's equity market performance, some people might be nervous about this, but don't be. Long term, let's take a look at the potential power of compounding. So, a £500 monthly investment after 20 years would look like what? Now, the standard risk warning is at the bottom. I'm not guaranteeing these growth rates, but let's assume you could get them and you pay in £120,000 over 20 years. How do I get that? The green bar, 500 times 12 times 20. That's not the exciting bit in a way. The exciting bit is the tax-free growth before charges on top. Now, small blob at 2%, bigger slice at 5%, and a significant addition at 8%. So what's the point here? Well, if I put the amounts on, the amounts are less important than the size of the pink bit, if you like. What we're saying is, were you to get 5% growth, let's say, you'd be looking at about 70% extra capital, if you want to see it that way, on top of the amount you've invested. And that flexes down a bit at 2, up a bit at 8. Finally, there's no lock-in. Now, you have to be careful with this one. We are investing for the long term, hopefully, using ISAs, but the funds can be withdrawn at any time. Unlike a pension, you're not locked in, okay? Be careful. Basically, if you want to preserve the tax benefits, the income tax, capital gains tax benefits you've enjoyed into the future on the funds you've withdrawn, you need to put them back in within the same tax year. Otherwise, basically, once you withdraw money from an ISA, you have lost those benefits. Okay, you can withdraw at any time, withdraw as much as you want at any time, but you do lose the benefits. Be a little bit careful. If you're thinking about an ISA transfer between providers, do not close an ISA and then try and reopen an account with another provider. That will fall foul of this rule. Make sure you are transferring. They are different. Now the but. So 3 benefits. What's the downside I mentioned? Well, basically it's this. ISAs are currently part of your death estate. So for older investors, this can start to have a bearing in terms of what they use as tax-effective savings vehicles. What that means is that basically if you leave behind an ISA, it could be subject to 40% inheritance tax before what's left can be passed on to your beneficiaries. There is an important exception for transfers between spouses. So if one spouse basically leaves an ISA to another, on death they get what's called an additional permitted subscription, which enables the surviving spouse to basically open up an ISA with the equivalent value of what was in the other one. So that's quite useful, but beyond, if you like, inter-spouse transfers as it were, there is a potential inheritance tax liability. So ISAs are not necessarily inheritance tax efficient in all circumstances, even if they are income tax and capital gains tax effective in most. Lots of ground covered there. There are other videos available, so editor@killik.com with queries. And to watch those other videos, good place to go is killik.com/learn. And then on this side, you're on the tax effective savings tab.